Peace. What's happening, good people? This gift here for Pay Us No Mind. And today we're talking about what Spotify knows that Facebook doesn't. And we're also diving into market share and how those things factor into Spotify's data and impact you and your music being heard by potential new fans and all of that type of stuff. So today is more like a part discussion, part lesson, man. And we might have some fun coming towards the end, man. Talk about some of this stuff with verses. You know, if you want to put people on blast, you know, some of these distributors, whatever, whoever, I'll give you the floor, you know. So topic today, Spotify, Facebook, market share, and then whatever the hell, right? Because listen, man, last night I tuned in to the versus thing with Dipset versus the Locks, and man, did Dipset get washed. And I'm from Harlem, man, but yeah, that was crazy. But y'all know how this go, man. I run my mouth about the topic at hand for the first 15, 20 minutes. Then we get into the live chat where everybody get to ask questions and post comments and all of that good stuff. You know, if you have subscribed to the channel, click the bell icon so you could hopefully get notified the next time we go live. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you know, subscribe to the channel, man. It's all up. You know, if you guys want to support the channel, you can by becoming members, hitting that join button, you know, $2, $5, whatever have you, right? All is welcome. You know, same thing with the chat room and the super chats. For those that do not know, you know, I have this template, right, for Facebook marketing for Spotify, step by step that artists can follow just easily, you know, copy. Hey, he did this step one, do that step one. He did that step two, do that step two. Right now, I am offering to assist people with it, you know, where they could lean on me for assistance. I'll provide certain tools, you know, like Smartlinks and stuff like that. I'm only offering it to about 10 artists. About 5 have already taken me up on the offer, so it's only 5 slots left. It's a link to it in the description box. But yeah, it's 5 slots left. So if you want to participate, you know, definitely, man, take advantage before those slots fill up. All right, good people. So check the system, make sure we're good to go. Then we're going to dive into the topic at hand. All right, y'all. Just like always. Word, man. So hold on. Let me see something. Yeah, man. But yeah, that versus is a good thing for like allowing people to dive into catalog, you know, like dive into catalog where they start listening to all of these different songs and an artist's library, you know, this album, that album, all of this different type of stuff. And that, you know, factors into the topic today as well, where we dive into market share, you know. So yeah, man, I'm just getting set up, y'all. Caught up. Yeah, man. Because listen, man, it be stuff I'll be coming across on the internet, man, like old school stuff that I'll be like, yo, like, I don't know if y'all remember that Dare commercial back in the days with the Cobra. I'll find it later. Yeah, man. But okay. So what does Spotify know that Facebook doesn't know? Let's dive into that. Facebook is a social media platform. Social media. People go there, they post stuff about their kids. Hey, look at my daughter sliding down the sliding board, right? Look at my son eating ice cream. You know, people look at this meal I'm eating at this restaurant. Here's me at this concert. Different things. Content. That's what people post. The social media. And when you post content, people say, oh, that was funny. or that was heartwarming, or whatever have you. Oh, look at the baby. Oh, the baby's so cute. Heart. People positively respond to your content. With Spotify, people respond to your music. People hear a song, they like the song, they heart the song, they save it to their library, they listen to it more. So Facebook understands who likes your content or who likes the content of a particular artist. Spotify knows who likes their music, who enjoys listening to their music. And if you dig into the numbers, what you find a lot of times is that even for established artists, they're under indexing. Like the size of their social media following does not translate to the size of like their sales and their streams and stuff like that. Most of the time it pales in comparison to their social media following, So it's like a lot of times, especially now, where everybody is so hungry for content. So it's like you have some artists who are on social media and they like basically regurgitate stuff that they found on the internet that was funny, so somebody slapped somebody and that was a funny video. So then Snoop reposts it to his Twitter account or to his Instagram feed or whatever have you. I remember Tyrese started doing that when Facebook pages became a thing, and he had his Facebook page, and it was just like regurgitating popular online videos. He would take them from YouTube and repost them to his Facebook page to get engagement. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have a lot of people that would see the video, see the content, see the meme, see the GIF, and like that. But they are not like into the artist like that, And even in the sense of sometimes when they are not. Like sometimes people hear a song from an artist, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have gotten caught out there at one point in time where it's like you hear a song from an artist and you're like, yo, who made this? Right? And you go and you check them out and like, oh, okay, he could get a follow from me. But it's like outside of that one song, he didn't make anything else that you like. And you don't really like him like that, but you don't take the action of unfollowing, So you still get content from him provided he posts, but you're not into him like that. So it's like with a lot of this stuff, man, just because somebody follows people on social media, just because they engage in their content doesn't mean that they like their music. And where the rubber meets the road with that is when you are marketing and promoting your music, right? Especially when you're paying for it. Because if you have remarketing lists based on the people who engage with your content, then you could be reaching people who very well could not care about your music. You know what I'm saying? People who like the baby photos, people who like your outfit, people who like your hairdo, different things that don't connect to actually liking your music. And a lot of times when I deal with artists, they come to me and they have social media numbers and engagement. And then, if you run a campaign trying to target the people that like their page, it kind of falls on deaf ears. Nobody responds to it, and that is because that's not what people are there for. They're there for whatever else you were posting. And a lot of times when they try to shift gears and post something different, those people unfollow because it's like, hey, that's not what I'm here for. I heard you making this political statement where you said we should all vote for Joe Biden. And I was like, yes, that's right. This guy's got it right. He's one of the smart ones. I followed you. And then you never talked about that again. You started posting about music. So I'm going to unfollow you, So it's not so much what, it's why. Now, Spotify, with people streaming there, they have like this treasure trove of data regarding what people like, the extent that they like it, because just because somebody streamed the song doesn't mean that they're a fan of the song. So they can understand that by looking and saying, okay, well, how many times does this person stream this song? And go beyond just whether somebody hit the like button or whether they hit the save button and look at how many times does this person stream this song, and a lot of us, again, experience these things, right? Like we experience these things on stuff like the YouTube algorithm and with a lot of these different algorithms, but mainly the YouTube algorithm. Like y'all ever watched something on YouTube, like not even something you were a fan of, but you just watched one video. And then all of a sudden, YouTube just starts serving up all of these other videos like that video. And you're like, whoa, YouTube, take me out to dinner first. You know what I'm saying? Just start trying to shove their tongue down your throat with all of this different kinds of content, from this one thing that you just happen to look up out of curiosity, but you're not a fan of, you don't have like a high level of interest in, but the algorithm said, well, you watched it, so you probably want to watch more stuff like it, and that's how the system kind of works. So you could have and sometimes, man, people don't want to admit certain things to themselves, right? Like, how people got what they call it, like guilty pleasures, like somebody that might consider themselves an intellect might not want to admit to themselves that they were a fan of a show like Love and Hip Hop. So they might watch it, right? But they won't commit to it. Where they put it on their schedule, or they're like, oh, today is this day and let me watch it. But it's like channel surfing. It comes on, they watch it, they look for it, and they want to watch. It's on now. And they go, but they can't admit to themselves because it's like, I'm not that person. I'm not the Love and Hip Hop fan type of person. But YouTube says, you know what? You don't want to admit it to yourself, but you like it. You like it. So you go to YouTube and you see, or you look up a clip of some incident on the show, and then YouTube serves you up more clips from episodes of the show. And because you are secretly a fan of the show, you know what you do? You watch it. You watch another clip, and you watch another clip, and you might not be able to bring yourself to the point where you'll subscribe to the channel, to get the content fed to you, but you continue to watch it. And then YouTube says, despite the fact that you don't subscribe to this channel, you keep watching this stuff. So we're going to keep serving it to you. And at the same time, if you subscribe to a channel, but you don't watch the channel's videos, so if they serve the channel, videos from the channel up on your homepage, and you don't click those videos and you don't watch them and stuff like that, then they will not show you videos from a channel, even if you subscribe to it. So you can subscribe to a channel, but you don't watch the videos, you don't see content from that channel. You don't subscribe to a channel, but you watch their videos, you see content from that channel. Spotify operates in a similar fashion. Somebody can save your music to their library. They can follow your account, but if they don't listen to your music, they don't get more of your music. Social media, not so much who listens to your music, who engages with your content. If people like your posts and stuff like that, Facebook doesn't know what happens when somebody leaves Facebook and goes to Spotify. Only Spotify knows that. So all Facebook knows is, hey, this person likes your photos. This person likes the quote that you put up, so that's something that you got to be aware of when you're marketing and building remarketing lists and things of that nature, is the fact that the people who are following you on social media are responding to your content. And the people who stream your music, that is about your music, so even in the sense of things like Spotify direct ads and being able to leverage that, because that is a very good tool for remarketing in a sense. Like, it's not based on a list of people that engage with your content, but it's based on people who are streaming your music. So that is another thing that we'll probably get into at another time. But yeah, that is a tool, Now, what is the point of this information that Spotify has? And the point is that Spotify not only understands who's listening to your music, but who else those people are listening to, and what kind of music those people will like, and who to recommend your music to, to help increase your exposure effectively, get your music out to more people. Now, what dictates to what extent that happens, to what extent Spotify pushes your content out to more people, is market share. And that is what we're going to get into now. Market share. So let's go, good people. Party people, hey, gather round. All right, hold on. Let me pull this out of here. Yeah, man. So let's dive into this. All right, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. So it's like, let me make sure y'all can see what I'm seeing. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Do you hear what I hear? All right. Damn, son, Dipset got washed, man. Yo, it's kind of crazy. All right, hold on, man. Let me see something. Is it showing? No, I don't think it's showing what the right thing. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this out of here so I can get the right thing in. Word up. Give me a minute because we're going to dive into market share, but I want to make sure that we are right. So first, let's do this. All right. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, man. So look, this is the way market share works. You know, you have a bunch of people streaming music. You have a bunch of people streaming music. Spotify looks at how many of those streams are for your music. Like out of all of the streams, what percentage of them are streams of your music? So it's like in here, artist A gets less streams than artist B, who gets less streams than artist C, who gets less streams than artist D. Artist D gets the most streams. Now, everything on Spotify flows through market share. Which songs they recommend, from radio stations to the order in which songs get played when somebody streams their library on shuffle or their favorites on shuffle or something like that, all the way down to revenue share, because the revenue gets split in this same fashion. So if you have artist D getting most of the streams, artist D gets most of the revenue. Now, in a not so strange kind of thing, but in a loop, so to speak, artist D, because they get most of the streams, they would not only get most of the revenue, but they will also get most of the promotion on the platform, which would keep them getting most of the streams. Because they get most of the streams, Spotify weights how many people they push them out to based on that. So they'll get more exposure in the playlist because they have most of the market share. So it keeps it the same. Now, when you look at this and you say, okay, well, artist B or artist A gets the least amount of streams, right? So we go and we say, okay, this whole market share thing, you can break into categories. So you say, who gets the most streams or the least streams for music in general, right? Music in general, out of all of the genres, out of all of the different artists, all of the different styles, who gets the most streams? And that those artists would get the most promotion on like playlists that are more eclectic, playlists that are just based on listener history, like Discover Weekly, Release Radar, those types of playlists that are just more like, okay, well, all of these artists are related. They all feature on each other's tracks. So who we're going to put on what playlist? Market share. That's what determines that. What percentage of streams are of your music. And then it breaks down and you can go into genre. What percentage of streams for a particular genre are people listening to your music? What streams for a particular subgenre are people listening to your music? What percentage of streams for a particular style of music are people listening to your music? And you can get into moods, activities, workouts, things like that, right? And they know that because they can say, okay, well, they can look at the playlist that people make for working out, the playlist that people make for when they're sad and stuff like that, and say, well, which songs are on these playlists most of the time? And how many times do these songs get streamed, and make those assumptions based on what that data tells them. Now, I conducted my own little experiment using a friend to the room, K-Drama, and a personal friend of mine, Cavalier, looking at the artists' radio stations that they have, like the artists that they are identified as being similar to, and how many streams they get from radio, and how does market share factor into how many streams they get from radio? Now, in this sense, you see with K-Drama, right? K-Drama has 61 releases and 50 appearances. That means 50 features, or really more than 50 features, because I believe that Spotify caps it at 50. If you got more than that, they don't show it. So at least 50 features that he has, getting on other people's records in some capacity. So it's 61 releases and 50 appearances. And he's got over 2,000 plays from radio. Spotify radio, he has over 2,000 plays from. Now, alternatively, you have Cavalier. Cavalier only has 6 albums and 10 appearances on other people's releases. And he only got 158 streams from radio stations on Spotify. Now, how does that factor into things? We already see from the standpoint of how many streams they get from radio, but looking at something like the averages for the related artists, like the artists that are connected to them, like the artists in their similar artists section, you see the average number of releases for artists that K-Drama is identified as being similar to: 16 releases, 33 appearances, right? So for K-Drama, these are the numbers that he would have to beat in order to maintain like an edge market share wise, where his music comes up in people's artist radio stations, right? So it's 16 releases, 33 appearances. Now, it ain't just about the number of releases. It's also about the number of streams and listeners too. It's just that people who have more more releases and more appearances tend to have more streams. So if you get 1,000 streams for an individual release and another guy gets 1,000 streams for an individual release, but he has 20 releases to your one, then he has 20,000 streams to your 1,000, so that's where the catalogs factor into things. Now if you got 30,000 streams for one song and this guy has 20,000 streams across his whole catalog, then you would still dominate market share wise. So you can overpower the algorithm with more streams for less releases, but you would need more streams for less releases. Now with Cavalier, the averages and the numbers that he needed to beat was 17 releases and over 42 features. So 17 releases and 42 appearances for Cavalier, 16 releases and 33 appearances for K-Drama. Do they beat those numbers? K-Drama, 61 releases, 17 or 16 was the number to beat. 50 appearances, 33 was the number to beat. Cavalier, 17 releases. He has 6 albums or six releases. 17 was the number to beat. Average appearances over 42. He has 10. So that's why his songs don't pop up on artist radio stations as often as are artists like K Dramas, because he doesn't have the market share that K Drama has. Right? He doesn't have the market share that K Drama has. Now, what we're going to do is take a look at how these radio stations promote artist music and how closely related, because radio and promotion from artist radio is very targeted. It's targeted promotion. It's Spotify saying, hey, this artist likes Jill Scott. And this listener likes Jill Scott. And if they like Jill Scott, they're probably going to like Erykah Badu. And you probably are. It's very close related. You know, artists that not only are in the same genre, but match stylistically, you know, so it's highly targeted. Whereas playlists like Discover Weekly, Release Radar, those playlists aren't as targeted, which we're going to like dive into here, showing off like some of these, some of my Spotify playlists, all right? Yeah. So here we're looking at Discover Weekly, you know, my Discover Weekly. And I just want to look and see whether there's like a big difference in between the artists that are on the Discover Weekly playlist. So we can look and we can see, okay, Terrell Grice, I'm not familiar with him, but Quincy Jones, I know him, right? Quincy Jones, Babyface, Slow Jams. Now let's see. Names I know. Cleo Soul. All right, she fits with a Quincy Jones kind of thing. Donnie Hathaway. Now here, look, Meek Mill and LMA. That sticks out, right? So this is not in alignment with Quincy Jones, you know. Ajan, that sticks out. That's not in alignment with the Quincy Jones neither. So this is just based more so on your overall listening history across artists, across genres, all of those different types of things. And if you look at daily mixes, right? They got a daily mix for me with Quincy Jones. And we look at this daily mix and they got SWV in there, Faith Evans, you know, Mary J. Blige, Ladisi. So it's more in alignment than Discover Weekly. But if you're talking about Quincy Jones, you would probably be more Anita Baker, more Luther Vandross, more Whitney Houston, you know. So you got Drizzy in here and T-Pain, all of this different type of stuff. That is a looser connection to a Quincy Jones. Then you have Release Radar, and this is all over the place. You got tracks from Drake and Smiley, Leon Bridges, George Levette, right? Kevin Ross, different artists, different genres, different styles. Now we look at Erykah Badu Radio, and you see Erykah Badu, Bilal, D'Angelo, Ladisi, Jill Scott, A. Marie, Common, Tony, Music Soul Child, Jill Scott, right? These are all artists that are very, they all kind of considered neo soul for the most part. You know, they're in that wheelhouse. The head wraps, the mood rings, all of that different type of stuff. They are in that wheelhouse. So, yeah, it's very important to have your music be associated with the right artists. And the way you're going to do that is A, by getting more streams than them, or B, building up your catalog. Now, building up your catalog isn't going to do it by itself. Because you got a lot of artists that think, okay, well, if they just put out more music, then they'll just do it by sheer quantity. I'll just put out more music, and then combined by committee, I'll overpower and I'll get more placements or whatever have you. And no, you won't. You need to push and promote those releases. So if you can't afford to promote multiple releases, then odds are those releases aren't going to go nowhere. At the very least, you need to push one release and put enough money behind it to like gain some kind of traction to where you have a fan base and you can keep feeding that fan base more releases and grow organically like that. But if you are starting out with nothing or a very tiny fan base, like a small group of listeners, like you got 10 listeners a month or whatever have you, putting out more releases isn't going to do it. You know, you need to promote those releases, man. And that's why I made the decision to effectively put my system out there for artists to kind of take and implement. Because the issue that I saw that a lot of artists was coming across, man, it's like, listen, you got levels of artists, right? You got different groups of artists. You got group one, artists that can't afford to promote. They don't have the money, you know. Now, by and large, that group of artists are the most susceptible to scams, right? Because they don't have a lot of money, and whatever money they can kind of conjure up, they're looking to get the most money for it. So when it comes to anything that has like anywhere near legitimacy, you would get into like things like Sprizzy, things like View Maniacs, stuff like that, right? That artists might go to for promotion because it's like, okay, spend $50, spend $20, get a whole bunch of streams or a whole bunch of views or whatever have you, you know? And outside of that is just straight up scams, playlist scams, stuff like that. People say, hey, give me $20, I'll give you 100,000 streams. Artist says, oh, okay, well, great. You know, I don't have a lot of money to spend, $20, a whole bunch of streams. Thank you very much. You know, so you got those types of artists, right? And we'll get more into that in a minute. But then you got the artists who have the money, but not the belief, right? They don't believe in music being profitable like that. They might tell themselves that they have confidence in their music and feel like, yo, my music will really blow up and take off and stuff like that. But they don't have, and I can't even say the confidence in their music, maybe the confidence in the concept of promotion, right? Because so many people get scammed and stuff. They just don't believe that it's going to work like that. So those artists, they have the money. And what they put their money into instead are like social cues. They say, okay, well, if I have thousands of followers, people will see my followers and become fans. If I have thousands of Spotify streams, people will see that and become fans. If I'm on this particular website, people will see me there and become fans. If I dress this way, if I have a music video that looks like this, if I present myself as being successful, people will buy into that. So they spend their money more on how they look, right? Car rentals, jewelry, things like that, trying to present a certain persona, you know, rigging the numbers too to present a certain persona. And that's where their money goes to. And they might invest in marketing and promotion here or there, but most of their money consistently is going to go into presentation and trying to get people to buy into them that way. Now, by and large, it doesn't work. You know, those artists years down the line are still doing the same thing and not successful, but that's something that they believe, you know, and they don't trust the idea of promotion, you know. And then you got the artists that have money to some extent, but not for that, you know. So it's like they got money, but that money they would rather spend on video games or gear, right? Spend it on a new iMac, a new MacBook, new equipment, you know, producer equipment or whatever have you. And they don't want to spend that money to invest in their music. So you got these different types of artists, different types of mindset that determines whether they'll like invest in themselves or not, man, you know. But I mean, by and large, I would say the main reason why is return on investment. because you have a lot of people that talk about what artists should invest in and that artists should invest in themselves, but not a whole lot of talk about return on investment, how you're going to make the money back, stuff like that, man. And those are things that I want to focus on, right? I want to focus on return on investment and what does it take to make that money back, you know? And I mean, I would say by and large, it's probably like maybe like around 10,000 monthly listeners is maybe like a tipping point that you got to get to before you can get into the wheelhouse of, you know, trying to sell people something. I mean, at any stage you can sell people something, but I think that is the level where you really kind of got a buzz, you know, and can build on that. Now, outside of that, it's whatever. Anything you come up with, you can kind of sell people. But that's like the tipping point that I'd say. But yeah, man, I'm going to dive into the chat room. I'm going to shout everybody out, man. We get the questions, all the stuff, man. You know, get to how you guys felt about that versus if y'all want to talk about that, right? But yeah, man. So we got XXX Lava Team was good, man. Kensei Babyface, what's up? Long Distance Traveler was good. Orion was good. Kensei. Jerry NRG, what's up? Dizzy on the boat, on the beat rather. Dizzy on the boat. Dizzy on the beat was good. Giovanni Glacia, what's up, man? What's good to the room, man? If you're watching, tap in. If not, it's all good, man. Word, man. But listen, yo, that versus last night was wild, yo. You know, first off, I would like to say as East Coast hip hop artist and fan, it was amazing, right? Amazing moment for New York hip hop. You know, I felt real good, man, watching that. Very nostalgic, you know, took me back to my youth, man, you know, back in the days and stuff, man, just the feel of it. And what I like about it the most, I like the Locks and their aggression and their commitment to the culture. You know, like I like Jadakiss, who kept shouting out that Dipset was like robbing the people because they was rapping over their lyrics and stuff, because that was a big no-no. You know, when I was doing music and stuff like that, man, lyricism was very important. Putting on a good show was very important. Getting up there rapping over your lyrics and all of that, that was like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Because people wanted to really see you showcase skills, you know? And Jadakiss and Styles P, and that's what they were doing. They were showcasing skills, man, MCing skills, man. And that made me real proud, man, and I felt real good about it, man. You know, and the records that they was playing were just like, damn, bro. Classics. Word, yo. So let me see what people talking about in here, man. All right. Kensei Babyface says, one of my fans informed me of a Discord him and a few music fans made discussing my music and art. It has changed my life completely to where I've only pushed my focus on marketing to only them. I mean, you don't want to restrict, right? You don't want to restrict and just isolate yourself. Now, listen, you can, if those people provide enough income for you to like make a living where you don't really have to do and reach anybody else, kind of like those boutiques in downtown Manhattan. Like you got some of those boutiques on 34th Street where, you know, back in the days when I was a messenger, you would go in there and you wonder like, how are they paying rent? Because it's always empty, but they got like one or two clients that spend more money in there in a day than people make in a year. So it's like they have two clients and their clients are Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian or something like that, or Bill Gates' wife shop there or something like that, right? So it's like this small clientele, but they spend so much money that it's like we don't even need other people to shop here. So it's like if you got that, if you got a small group of people that allow you to provide for yourself and stuff like that, then yeah, you don't need to step out. But if they don't provide enough revenue for you, then yeah, you need to expand. You can't restrict yourself. Yeah, man. And yeah, you did follow up and you say, I instantly sold over 100 t shirts last month. Fact is, we all have to cultivate our own audience. And that's the thing, too, man. So it's like in your case, somebody hipped you, they put you up and they said, hey, there's this Discord community where people are fans of your music. Whereas most people have no clue. They don't know who these people are, they don't know if these people exist. So all they know are those numbers on Spotify and social media. And if they don't see an explosion in numbers there, by and large, they assume that they don't have any fans, right? Or that their fans don't support them. You know, like, ah, man, I posted to Instagram and nobody responded. And it's like, well, that's because your fans aren't on Instagram. They're on Discord, right? Or like how I used to see, there was this forum, Rate Your Music, that people would go to rate albums, you know, and have discussions around albums. And a lot of times people who are music fans congregate in areas designate or dedicated to music. You know, they don't really care about all this other stuff that goes on social media. They just want to have music conversations in a space with other music lovers that isn't subject to like the trolling that happens on Twitter and the nonsense that goes on with Facebook and stuff like that, man. Orion, man, thanks for the donation, brother. Much appreciated, fam. Jerry NRG. Yeah, man. Uh-huh. All right. Just Brian says, appreciate the content always. I missed the verses before my time. Oh, man. A time it was, man. It was a time, brother. But yeah, I'm going to shout this out again. For those that have some experience promoting their music on Facebook and stuff like that, man, you know, if you want some assistance, if you need a better system, you know, you don't like the results that you're getting, I have a system, man. You know, it's allowed me to help a lot of artists trigger that Spotify algorithm, get streams from artist radio, get streams from a lot of different places, you know, and it's up on the page that I have set up for it. So it's a link in the description box. It's about 5 slots left, and we be working with some 10 artists directly with it, you know, where they can reach out to me and I'll provide some assistance to them, get them smart links, things like that they'll need to facilitate the whole system, you know. So definitely take advantage of that, man. It's an opportunity. Word up. Hey, for real though. All right. Jovan says, with so many schemes, who can you really use for promotion? I mean, you got to go with the people you trust. You know what I'm saying? So it's like me, I have my system, but I also run campaigns for artists. I manage campaigns for artists, you know, and there's other people out there that do it too, that have legitimate promo. But a lot of times, man, you know, they're not like, listen, I would say generally, if it's too good to be true, it usually is, right? If it seems too good to be true, it usually is. You know, so if somebody is telling you or promising you the world for like $100 or something like that, yo, odds are that promotion ain't really gonna get you nowhere, you know? And by the same measure, it's like if somebody is charging you thousands of dollars, and a lot of times what artists want are guarantees, some form of a guarantee. So artists will sit and they'll to ask, hey, well, what can I expect for this? How many streams can I expect for this money? And if somebody gives you an answer in a way of, we'll promise you this many streams or that many followers or something like that, scam. You cannot promise people anything like that. And you have a lot of places that will say, we don't promise numbers. And then when you get on the phone with them, they'll be like, yeah, but you could expect in the wheelhouse of, and it's like, you can't promise that because it's subjective. It's based on whether people like what they hear. And if people don't like what they hear, then you get nothing. Nobody can promise you that people are going to like your music. You know what I'm saying? People can only promise you, hey, I'm going to get it heard. And if people like it, then, the campaign succeeds. If people don't like it, then the campaign doesn't. So the real thing to look at more so is, how many people did this campaign reach? And what was the presentation like? Did they present you, or did you present yourself in a way that people would find appealing, or that you feel like people would find appealing? So it all comes down to who's in control of things like your creative. So it's like, if you go to somebody to run an ad for you and you say, yo, here's my ad, advertise that. And all they do is just broadcast what you gave them. And it's a proven fact, like they got the proof, hey, we got this in front of 100,000 people. And you look at it and you say, well, it got in front of 100,000 people, and only 100 people say yeah and decided to watch the video. Well, something was probably wrong with the music. Maybe they didn't like the music. Maybe they didn't like the presentation. So it's not to say, oh my God, I got scammed. It's, okay, well, I got to try a different presentation. If you don't have enough money to try anything else, then again, that's not on the promoter or the marketer. That's on you. You just don't have enough money to experiment to the extent that you need to experiment to find out what works, So it's variables that factor into things, where it's not as cut and dry as, hey, you hire somebody and they can make a miracle for you, and a lot of times that's what artists are expecting. So it's like some clients, like a client in particular that I work with, we had a consultation, because a lot of times before people will pay me to work with them, they want to see me, they want to speak to me. So we sit on the phone and we chat. And that was a question that they asked me. They say, okay, well, how many numbers can you promise us? What can you guarantee us? And I said, nothing. Nothing. I can't guarantee you anything. All I can guarantee you is that we'll expose the music to people. If they like it, then you win. If they don't, then you lose. And the lady was like, you know what? You're the first person that answered honestly. And they hired me to manage their campaign. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, we want reality. You know what I'm saying? We want legitimate promotion. And, you have some people like that, and you got some people that are not like that. They want some kind of guarantee. You know what I'm saying? And you can't guarantee anything in this business. Yeah, man. Joseph Chaser, what's up, man? Solo Hits was good. Iron, what up? Says I missed the whole combo. Don't worry, man. It's DVR is an option, bro. Right? Kensei says the problem I have is I don't promote and make sales, but put money in marketing on Spotify and YouTube with little to no results. I mean, listen, like I said again, my system is available. Click the link. All you got to do is just follow it line for line. It's an easy thing. I intentionally tried to simplify it for people. I did not get into Facebook Business Manager and just clutter everybody's brains with a whole bunch of stuff they did not need to know. It's effectively pick up the phone, turn it on, swipe up, like those kinds of instructions. So you just follow it line for line. You know what I'm saying? And listen, you're probably going to get way better results than what you get right now. and it's just a matter of, taking the action, like not just saying, hey, well, I did this, it didn't work, I'm not going to bother anymore. Like, yo, you got to try different things, man. You got to try something that works, because you cannot relegate yourself to obscurity, right? To just say, okay, well, I'm not even going to promote. I tried some stuff, didn't work. Now I'm just done with it. And hopefully people just discover my music on their own, and somehow, everything works out for me. That's highly unlikely to happen. You think you're the only one that, listen, man. Listen, the reality of the situation is y'all not alone. I was an artist too, out there making music, and I lost money. I lost a lot of money. I paid for A&R summits that were BS. You go there, it's like they either A is fake, or B, they ain't talking about nothing that is really bringing any kind of value to you. Paying to perform at showcases, and you go there and it's just a bunch of people there with their friends and stuff like that. And by the time you get on stage, nobody's there, and that money is just blown. And at the end of the day, you keep going, because you got to find something that works. Not doing anything is not an option. Not doing anything and just folding your hands and just hoping that people miraculously discover your music is not an option. All right, Iron says, I'm trying to build a budget to market. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a good thing too, to stack your bread and wait till you get enough money to do it to the extent that you need to really make a splash. Because I'd say to build like a legitimate small buzz, right, where you have maybe 10,000 listeners on Spotify, like monthly or something like that. It might take like around maybe 6,000, and that can be like 1,000 a month for 6 months, but it would take somewhere in that ballpark, and maybe like multiple singles throughout that time. So maybe 4 singles, maybe 5 singles, maybe a single a month, depending on, when things die down. But you would keep re-engaging the audience, maybe 3 singles in an EP, something like that, right? But that's, by my experience, what it would probably take, like around $6,000. Yeah, man. Long Distance Traveler says, what show is that you are talking about, and where do you watch it? Which show I mentioned, man? What you talking about, brother? Are you talking about the versus battle or whatever have you, man? That was you just gotta YouTube search the Locks versus Dipset, and it'll come up. Dizzy on the Beat says, what arguments do you have to musicians claiming the game is oversaturated online? Love the info and knowledge. Thanks. I mean, the advice that I have is like, yo, listen, man. How many people trying to make it into the NBA? A lot. Like everybody with a basketball in their hands that got a little game, dream of making it to the NBA, go to high school, try to play ball, try to make it. Does the fact that all of these people want to be NBA players mean that LeBron James should have not tried to play basketball, or Kobe Bryant, or any of these other guys? No, clearly these guys were better than those guys. Everybody can do it, but everybody's not good at it. Everybody's not great. Everybody doesn't have the motivation. Everybody doesn't have the resources. And sometimes it's all of those things combined. Sometimes it's one of those things that get you over. But it's not just a matter of, yo, all of these people are doing it. You know what I'm saying? All it does is just raise the stakes in the sense that you got to do more. So it's like when I started doing music and promoting music online, right? MySpace pop off, getting your music out there was as simple as sending somebody a message on MySpace. People hear the message, they say, oh man, oh, you know what? I'm gonna check this out. And then they check it out and they say, oh, this is pretty good, man. You know, send me something. You know, I work at Fat Beats Records or whatever, you know, send me some stuff. And then all the other artists jump on MySpace and they start spamming people. And all these people on MySpace start getting thousands of messages. Then it's just like, oh, I don't want to hear nothing from an artist. Don't message me, right? They start banning bands from messaging them, you know? So now it's like, okay, well, now what do I have to do to separate myself from the field? You know, like, gotta advertise, gotta do different things, you know, to bring attention to yourself. And it's not too challenging to separate yourself because not a lot of artists want to do a whole lot. You know, for the most part, man, recording music is relatively easy. You know, you go and you buy a lease beat for $20, $50, something like that. You record it on your computer and hey, you can upload it to SoundCloud. But a lot or most artists, they don't want to spend no money to promote. You know, they don't want to go out in real life and network. You know, they don't want to go to conferences and events and stuff like that because they don't want to invest the money. They just want overnight success from not doing anything other than just recording a song and posting it to SoundCloud. So those are the things that separate you. Promoting your music, putting money behind it, right? Promoting, advertising, stuff like that. Going out and kissing babies and shaking hands, right? Doing live performances and things like that. Even if 2 people show up, you can go fan by fan, you know, do a show, 2 people, 5 people, 10 people, right? Grow like that. So it's just stepping into different places where people are not. Joven Iglesias, what's your opinion on One Up? Don't really have an opinion on them. I mean, they're trying to launch it, but it's like in some kind of beta. So there's nothing there. There's nothing there yet. So there's nothing to really have an opinion on. Yeah, man. Artists gotta be careful. Every deal is not a good deal. Oh, that is certainly the truth, man. Every deal is not a good deal at all, you know. But listen, it's been fun. I'm about to tap out, get back to life, back to reality. Good people, you know, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, it's links to the template in the description box. If anybody want to set up a console or whatever, there's links there too. You know, anybody want to contact me, you guys see it right there on the screen. You can text me at that number, reach out to me. All right, good people. You guys be safe out there. This is Gift signing off. Pay us no mind. Peace, good people. One.